first round, I will go to Mr. Farhan first. You can share your insight about how you do the collaboration so far in social or business perspective. Okay. Yeah, the time, yes. Mr.
Thank you, Ibu Elmi. Thank
Yeah,
you.
most welcome.
Okay, let me just sorry. Okay, let me just begin. Okay, yeah. So very good
Sama
afternoon to everybody. Yeah. So don't mind if I begin. So yeah. So thanks to Ibu Elmi for inviting. When I was given this topic, I was quite surprised because it is not an easy topic to address. Um, Basically, I think we do understand that when we do collaboration has always been face to face, right? And to some extent, so I do strongly agree with the speakers from the previous segment. People connection is very important, and for us who do business, not just cross border business, but business anywhere, even in your own country, you realize that if you just started your business, your first 10 connections, your first 10 clients are basically your friends and family, right? It's normal. And if you continue your business, your friend's friend will still be your clients. It's called referral, yeah, through referrals and so on. So I think that's where business connections become very integral. So how do we build relationships? And I use the word build. How do we build relationships or get relationships in a situation where we cannot meet face to face, right? So before I go there, let me share a little bit about my organization, and after that, the second half, I will talk a little bit more about the topic. Okay. So I'm Fan Fedaus, partner and head venture building. I am in the business of innovation, right? So I recently just updated this slide. I was 33 years old, and then I just became 34, so I needed to update. Yeah. So what I do is my experience the last 6 to 7 years has been in the, I would say, the startup and the tech industry. I've held different roles. I was in Singapore. I was helping to administer the social enterprise space, and then after that, for 2.5 years, I jumped into. For those of you who are familiar with startups, I jumped into one of the bigger startup categories called Series B or Series B, right? So Series B is considered very fast growth, and yeah, I had very little sleep at that time. So for 2.5 years, and then after that, so I was in the healthcare industry, focusing on dentistry. So I was working very closely with investors from London. So again, it's a fast-moving startup. And then after that, I got interested with the investment world because I work very closely with investors, venture capital, private equity. So I then left and then joined I would say, agriculture investment firm focusing on ASEAN, right? So very much a lot of our investments were in Cambodia, in Indonesia, in Cambodia, Indonesia, Singapore, yeah, Malaysia, yeah, so on. And so yeah, so I think after that, I did my postgraduate studies, did my masters in technopreneurship and innovation, which is an area that I specialize now, and I started to run my own firm. So and yeah, so I will quickly share what we do, but that's what I'm doing now. I'm a partner at Meet Ventures, and basically outside of work, I am an advisory board member of the Ministry of Education. So in Bahasa Indonesia, Kementerian of Pendidikan, I think, yeah, in yes. So I focus on polytechnic and vocational studies review, and I'm also a board member of the business school at Singapore Polytechnic. So if there's anything on education that you'd like to collaborate, used to collaborate, yeah, let me know. We'll see what we can do. So I've also started a youth entrepreneurs association while I was studying, because I felt that there was a gap in Singapore. So we had a lot of, so there was a gap in Singapore and also in ASEAN of, I would say there are a lot of business chambers, like for example, like Kadin and so on in Indonesia, and then Malaysia has its own as well. Singapore has its own. But the problem is that in all these various business associations, um, you know, the existing ones were not able to understand the like startup world. They don't understand the technology world. So that was the challenge. So I started Epic Entrepreneurs Network, which is affiliated to the People's Association in Singapore, a statutory board. So yeah, so basically we cultivate, it's just a community of friends, and we communicate via WhatsApp, especially now with COVID, via WhatsApp, and we also have a Facebook group, and we share opportunities, for entrepreneurs in 4 communities: Singapore, Malaysia, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit about Meet Ventures. As I mentioned, I'm in the business of innovation. We do 3 things primarily, mainly innovation work for multinational corporations, and I would say a lot of it, we specialize in running accelerators, uh, incubators, and also corporate investment programs for MNCs. So if MNCs want specialized help, they will approach us. So that's what we do, and we also run entrepreneurship education programs for universities. Sometimes professors will outsource to us to run as well. So we are doing a program at the moment for NUS, right? So yeah, so just a little bit about us. Our existing clients come from, so mainly, I guess why Ibu Elmi invited me as well, also because a lot of my clients are from foreign countries, right? So these are my paying clients. They come from South Korea, Japan, China, and the Middle East. But of course, through my work with the corporate MNCs and also with governments from overseas, I help the startup community in the Asian in ASEAN, right? So in a way, I'm also like a bridge. I connect opportunities from governments and MNCs to startups, and my startups mainly come from ASEAN. We focus on that. So I think the question that could come is, how do I cope, right? So especially most of my customers. So I think generally, I would say, we use online meeting tools to make the business collaboration work, right? To string things together. I think no choice lah, yeah. Uh, uh, Tidak ada cara lain, ya. There's no other way. So, but I must say this, and I must say this. To be honest, I think we have used Zoom and all the other online tools as communication, but at the end of the day, when we want to confirm big deal, right? I think I still notice that it is still a requirement for some of these decision makers to fly down. Yeah, so this is my from what I see. So to communicate, it's still okay, but when we confirm a deal, like I just hosted my client from Japan. So Singapore and Japan has got a what do you call it, like a green lane. Yeah, so we just spoke with them to seal a deal for next year. Yeah, thankfully, and because of that, and through that, our client actually came down to discuss more opportunities. Yeah. So so this is just a little bit about what we do, right? So yeah, so in terms of startups, we have built startups from pre-seed all the way to Series B, ASEAN plus Korea, Japan, China, and so on. So these are just some of the startups that we've invested in. One in the Philippines, Igno is from Singapore. This is a, yeah. So we talk about communication tools, right? So this startup that I have invested in, Meet Ventures has invested in, called Inkno, is very popular in Indonesia schools, also in Singapore and some other regions as well. Because, so we talk about online platform, they created a e-learning platform to help guru teachers to teach effectively, yeah, using Microsoft and other tools. So the teachers felt that it was very, very useful. So Inknona is growing, and I'm also helping them to penetrate to Middle East. Hopefully, we'll start with Oman, right? So yeah, so these are some of the things. So I think let's go to the topic very quickly. I think my personal experience with cross-border work. I think all in all, I have had more experiences with Malaysia and Indonesia. Maybe because of the geographical proximity, because of the it's nearer, right? Also because my understanding of the cultures. And yeah, so of course, by having said that, I do travel also, like many of us esteemed guests and speakers here, to Brunei, Thailand, Cambodia, and so on. Papua New Guinea is one of the more exotic places I like to visit from time to time. But yeah, so very interesting. But most of my experience is mainly in Malaysia, Indonesia. So the question is, how do you cope with this, right? So I think my position is that the situation of collaboration before COVID-19. Before COVID-19, I think, especially for our experienced business person in this chat group who have, I'm sure we all have faced situasi atau situation that we go to the country, meet the people, talk a bit. At the end of the day, we ask ourselves when we fly back to our country, what did I achieve? I'm sure there are situations like that, right? Not very effective, right? Maybe there's some miscommunication along the way. And I would say, sometimes when we run companies, our staff would fly down. If we don't fly down, they fly down to manage. They go down all the way just to talk or discuss with the staff overseas. And also I think, the collaboration. But having said that, I would say that, how collaboration was done previously before COVID, is that, we would have business associations organizing trade missions. I miss this, by the way. Government leading trade missions, yeah. Government to government, and then sometimes you have some, maybe menteri atau, some level of political, representation. And then I would say personally, even like for me, I would personally go down to cities to find business opportunities. Actually, like what the previous speaker said, correct. The business opportunities come from the people, right? And how do they find you? Are you jujur atau tidak, right? Are you trustworthy? Do you have integrity? Are you nice? Are you like, I scratch your back, you scratch my back? Are you like that? So I think it comes with people connection, and I fully agree with the speakers just now. uh but however, due to COVID-19, all of it has stopped. So instead of us, okay, so this is my point of view, yeah. I feel that COVID-19, from March all the way to now, many of us, instead of farming new business opportunities, farming as in going out to find new business opportunities, sorry, new contacts, I think we still do online. But my point of view, right, is that through networking events like this online, it's a little bit difficult actually to, to network, right? Unless we have our trusted friends who recommend somebody, then I think it's okay. But I would say that probably from March to December, for those of us who are in business, I think, and that is myself included, I have spent a lot of time deepening my relations with existing contacts. That means those that I already know previously when I could meet them, I used the 9 months to basically deepen. So instead of going this way, right, we go deeper. So I think this is one strategy. Yeah. Also, I think, with regards to that, I think today any travel to a country is for serious business dealings, right? And not like last time we would go there just to talk. But now is that I already talked to you many times on Zoom. When I go down to meet you, it's more of like confirmation, or to tweak a few things, and also to formalize. And I would say, there are other ways to collaborate, and we collaborate with one another to achieve sales in each other's countries. I think this is one I'm seeing, whereby, so basically it's like, for example, if I'm in consulting, I will collaborate with other people in consulting in other countries. Say Indonesia, I know someone. Malaysia, I know someone. So what happens is we could work together. So on a project that could be cross border. So if let's say, in Indonesia, there appears to be one inquiry from a company, and that big company wants to do projects in Malaysia or Singapore. It will give them confidence because the team is comprised of these three countries. So this is one way. And of course another thing is that I think what we have done personally for me, I've also shared investment opportunities, corporate collaborations, networking opportunities to founders from Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So this continues despite COVID-19. So we do it online, and also, I would say that one of the good things is that previously there seems to be a barrier, right? For example, when there are seminars, there seems to be a barrier to invite our counterparts from other countries, but due to now the proliferation of this connectivity, I think that's the good thing. We see more representation of friends from the region. So when we have webinars nowadays, we it's easier for us to invite our friends from abroad, if they would like to join. And some people, they like that. They don't want to travel all the way to the country. Maybe they don't have time. And I would say that hiring employees is something that I do as well. I do it with cross border, so I go through maybe some intermediaries, to maybe, so I outsource some of my work, for example, or I appoint this company to give me manpower to work on projects. So I think we're seeing a little bit more of that as well. And Yeah, so I think for me, I still continue to support the Malaysia and Indonesia startup ecosystem, but via online, right? So I think I'm coming to the end. I think with regards to via online, I think this is online meetings is an additional platform for communication. It is the new way. But I think the challenges, the challenges is that there is still a strong need for face-to-face interaction, but maybe face-to-face interaction is for bigger projects, maybe like to sebagai konfirmasi, as a confirmation, or to formalize a partnership. The startup and SME who cannot overcome this will lose the opportunity for collaboration. This is true. And for cross-border collaboration to happen without seeing each other, I would say, the high probability of happening with existing connections. So I think, as I mentioned just now, I think we tend to go deeper nowadays instead of wider. So we use online platforms, to build, to continue to cultivate our relationship with friends that we already know, right? And maybe to a smaller extent, we get to know new people. But I would say, I'm not saying that I'm against it, but so what I try to do, if I get to know friends, for example, from today, I will try after this, I maybe will go to LinkedIn and say hello, but then we still have to find an opportunity after that to build that relationship. So which is sometimes a little bit difficult. So I saw you at a conference, I reach out to you on LinkedIn. How do we build that personal connection that you feel that you trust me and I trust you? So I think that is probably one thing we need to answer. And I would say that this collaboration would be more possible in our friends from from different cities. But when it comes to when it comes to rural places, so for example, if you are trying to connect with somebody from maybe Jawa Tengah, right, in a place like Purwokerto, for example, that's very difficult. It's 6 hours from Jakarta, 2 hours on the trishaw, and then the connectivity of internet is difficult. So I think these are some challenges. Tapi kalau via the city to city, I think it's fine. Okay, so yeah, so just a short sharing from me. Keep in touch. I'm Fahan Firdaus, signing out. Thank you.